Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you this lovely little card that I created using a torn edge technique and the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. This stamp set is part of a suite that I think you're really going to enjoy using. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how to get started. I'm going to start with the stamping for this, and I'm going to bring in my Blackberry Bliss and my strip of Very Vanilla cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp this in the center like so. A little bit crooked, so I'm going to flip that over and do it again. Let me see if I can move it down a little bit so I can see it a little better. There we go, a little better. And I'm going to bring in the inside panel now and my thistle image, ink it up, and I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of cardstock here and stamp it off twice because I want a softer look. And I'm going to place it along the edge here like so, just to give a little bit of color. So I'm ready to start assembling now. I'm going to bring in my Blackberry Bliss cardstock base here, folded on the score line, and then I'm going to bring in these 4 strips of Designer Series paper. And I'm going to put them in the order that I want them. But before I adhere them to my card front, I'm going to take the Designer Series paper and just tear a little bit off the top and the bottom. And I'm going to do this pulling it towards me so that I get this lovely little ripped edge on all 4 pieces. I'm just doing this randomly. I don't really worry about whether or not they're going to be exactly the same size. So there you go. I'm going to set those on my card front, spreading them out a little bit so that I can kind of see where I'm going and the spacing on this. Now this is going to have a really small margin on either side and in between the strips of Designer Series paper, and I can kind of line them up as I go. So I'm going to start on the left here and the right, and I'm going to flip those pieces of Designer Series paper over, and I'm going to slide these 2 to the bottom, keeping them in the same order. I'm going to add adhesive to the back of these 2 pieces, and then I'm going to flip them over and adhere. Now I'm going to line that up, like I said, right against the outside edge, leaving maybe 1/8 of an inch of cardstock showing, and burnish. And I'm going to do the same over here on the right. Of course, you can use your grid paper for this to make it a little more balanced if you'd like. And then I'm going to kind of see where I'm going with this, lining it up. I need to have this one here, so I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of it. And while I'm adding the adhesive, I'm going to also add it to the back of the 4th strip. I'm going to keep that about the same here, margin-wise, and I'm going to line up this stem image like so. And then I'm going to bring in my other image and line it up. Now if you notice, I am not burnishing this yet because I want to be able to slide things over and give a little bit of space and a little bit of color if I need to. So there we go. I've got those where I'd like them, and I'm going to burnish. And then I'm going to bring in my sentiment panel here, and I am going to, let's see, cut at an angle using my paper snips like so. And I'm going to kind of mimic that same angle on the other side. And then I'm going to decide where I want to put it. And I think I'm going to put it right about here. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to add several on the back of this just to support it. And of course our cardstock is nice and thick, so I don't have to worry about that sentiment showing through that we did first and decided I didn't like. And I'm going to add that right here to the bottom. I've got my card front done, and I'm going to bring in my inside panel. Now this is the 1/2 inch strip that comes from the bottom of the Designer Series paper when I cut it, and I can decide if I want to place it on that side or this side. And I think I actually like the watercolor look on the other side. So I'm going to flip this over and adhere it right down to the bottom. It'll kind of pull in the watercolor look here. And at this point, I can either set it inside and wait until I'm ready to send it, or simply adhere it in place. Last but not least, I want to bring in some of these adhesive back trio pearls. They come in 3 colors, and I'm going to pick up a couple of these and scatter them on my card front. Let's say I'm going to place one here. I'm going to place one up here. I think I'm going to add one more down here, just to kind of move your eye around the card front. So there you go, a quick and easy card using the Thoughtful Wishes suite of products. And of course, if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.